Hello my friends, and welcome to Shape of Dreams. In just a moment, I will explain to you what this game is, why I think you should play it, and how to get started. This video will be categorized and timestamped if you fancy skipping about. And that's the intro. Man, do you like how efficient that was? Me too. Let's begin. Shape of Dreams is a game by indie developer Lizard Smoothie. This game gets its DNA from ARPGs like Path of Exile, Diablo, so it has that MOBA-style combat, but it's packaged as a roguelike. It is fast, it is flashy, it's responsive, and you, as well as up to 3 of your friends, can play the game right now. There's a demo available on Steam right now, link in the description below, and the game itself is actually coming out very soon, in May of this year. Why should you play this game? And this is coming from someone who could never personally get into those classic ARPGs. You know, I was kind of turned away by things like the gear grind, the seasonal template, the need to basically play with like an external wiki, you know? And listen, I totally respect if you enjoy those games. In fact, if that is your background, picking up a game like this will be very intuitive to you. But my claim is, even if you didn't click with those kind of games, I think you'll like this one. So this game, like by virtue of being a roguelike, it kind of steers clear of those aforementioned things, and it's very easy to pick up and play. You go on like this 30-40 minute adventure, in and out, and then you do it again. Yeah, you do it again with new classes, unlocks, and abilities to try. So let's get right into it here. When you start the game, you'll be greeted by this main menu screen. You will actually have another option here. You'll have like a tutorial option that you can go and do. You don't see it on my screen because I've already completed it. So if you have done that for this video, great. If not, no problem. That's kind of like what this video is for anyway, giving you a tutorial, and a nicer one at that. And you can play alone or together, like I say. And the nice thing is actually, the unlock progression that you get is saved independently. So there's like a meta currency system, and there are these meta skill trees that you can progress through and upgrade your characters between runs. So that's very cool. On the right side here, you have some daily quests as well to get this meta currency. This Stardust is what it's called. So I'll talk about that properly a little bit later, but for now, why don't we get right into it? I will play solo. And then you arrive at this sort of like campfire screen, your cozy campfire. This is kind of like your base of operations that you can augment your run. There are 4 difficulties to choose from. They're all unlocked at the start of the game. There is the nap difficulty, there's deep sleep, ominous dream, and nightmare. So these difficulties, you can kind of briefly see the parameters here. I'll hover over them. So it's not just about stat increases as well. You'll have bosses using their abilities more often. You'll have healing effects reduced and things like that. But my tip to you at the beginning is that there is no penalty for meta currency gain in this easy difficulty. You'll notice here at the bottom text, there's increased Stardust rewards for the higher difficulties, but there's not like there's a decrease for this easy difficulty. So no shame in starting out in easy, because I'm going to be honest with you, this game is quite difficult, especially without some of those early unlocks to kind of shore up your characters. So start in easy if you'd like, and kind of get a feel for the game, get your feet wet, get a couple early unlocks, and then progress as you see fit. You can always change the difficulty around at any time. One more thing in terms of augmenting your run difficulty, we have these things called lucid dreams. So these are kind of like, if you've ever played, any Risk of Rain game, these are like artifacts. So they're like run modifiers. They come with like a positive and a negative. So this one, Harmless Whispers, says that boss monsters become slightly stronger, but they can now be affected by CC effects. So, you know, perhaps this opens the door to different builds and playstyles that might not have been as feasible before, but now that you can like CC bosses, that's something neat. So it's very, very cool. I'm sure they'll have more artifacts coming out when the game launches. So that's the difficulty settings done. Let's go into the meta progression now. So I'm gonna go click on Change Traveler here. And on the top right, that's how much meta currency I currently have, and you'll be greeted by these 4 skill trees. Now, what's important to understand is that these 3 trees, the life, destruction, and imagination trees, these are class agnostic. That is to say that they are persistent across any class that you choose. This top tree is character specific. Right now, there are 3 of these. The last 2 characters here, 4th and 5th, don't currently have trees at the time of this recording, but again, I'm sure they'll come out with that in the game launches. So these life trees, kind of self-explanatory, gives you sort of defensive, vitality-related upgrades at the very end. You you're actually able to decrease the cooldown of your dodge ability, which is very important. Destruction, you know, just more firepower basically. And imagination is, imagination is more of the economy, right? So the amount of gold, dream dust is another in-run currency that I'll explain a little bit later, but just to kind of shore up your in-game economy for the most part. That's what this tree is. So, with regards to classes, there are 5 of them in the game at the time of this recording. The first 2 you unlock when you beat the tutorial. That's the first 2 starter characters. And then the other 3 characters, you'll unlock them by completing their own like a mini side quest or mini objective. You'll be able to hover over their icon and it will tell you exactly what you need to do. And I'll be honest, it doesn't take long at all to unlock these classes. I think this first one is like you have to beat the game once, or you have to heal a certain amount. You'll be in a couple runs, you'll have access to all 5 classes, no problem. So let's kind of go over the first class, and every class actually has a base kit, right? They have like kind of a primary attack, they have like an ultimate, you could say, and then a passive ability, as well as a dodge. Sometimes the dodge is slightly augmented as well between classes. So that's the base kit. And then the cool thing is every character has unlockable skills as well. So again, I will harken back to Risk of Rain, kind of a similar system where you'll be able to hover over their unlockable ability. There's like a mini quest, you know, just like reach like a certain amount of attack power in the run, right? So you can kind of play for that in the run for this unlockable. And then when you're in the main menu, you can mix and match, and you can kind of swap things in and out to kind of build your own loadout. Just as like a mini spoiler here, I'll talk about this one, but you know, your gunslinger character has this sort of you know, fire from the hip, 3 shots kind of thing. But then when you get his unlock, this is more of like a sniper kind of style, right? So very cool. You're playing co-op, right? I was with a buddy earlier, and I was kind of this like tank character, and he was playing like the sniper build. So you know, you got your front line, your back line, and then that's all she wrote. It's very, very cool setup. You can kind of mix and match as you see fit. What I will do now is I will hop in game, and then I will briefly kind of go over all the classes, at least their base kit, and just give you a general idea of their archetype, right? I'm not going to get into like super like meta or whatever, right? I mean, the game is still in demo, so I mean, I don't even know what's good or bad necessarily, but I will at least give you a general overview, yeah? Okay, couple of audio issues later, I arrive in the game proper. I just started a new run to go over some of the class abilities, so let's do that. I know there's a lot of shiny stuff on your screen right now, but if you could just direct your attention, your gaze to the bottom center here. This is kind of like your ability dock, your loadout. We have our dodge, we have our sort of primary ability, we have, you could call it like an ultimate ability, and a passive as well. So Lacerta, this is your starter character, kind of like your gunslinger. Very, very flexible and nimble, 2 dodge charges right off the rip. We have this hand cannon as our right click, so this automatically has some built-in knockback utility. Give yourself some breathing room, deal some fire damage as well. Our ultimate is a very simple blast of 3 shots from the hip, 3 shots. No really innate parameters for this skill, but a little teaser, every skill can actually be augmented. I'm holding control right now to show you this loadout more zoomed in. Every skill can be augmented with essences. These are kind of like skill gems. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm getting ahead of myself right now, but I just want you to know that that's an option. And then my passive ability here, every 4th basic attack becomes a critical strike and explodes. It deals a certain amount of area effect damage, which is again fire damage, and the explosion damage is increased against burning enemies. So if the enemy's already on fire, aka your primary ability, the explosion damage will be increased from your passive. The second character that you have access to when you beat the tutorial is Mist, and look at that, you can scroll wheel in to kind of get a close-up view of the character. Hello, how are you? So Mist is kind of like a melee brawler duelist, so you're kind of getting right into the thick of combat, zipping in and out between foes, and you have a built-in sustain with both shield and healing to keep yourself topped up in combat. So for this character, I'm actually going to go over the passive first because it's very integral to the character's identity, so let me talk about this. This is Astrid's masterpiece. So the first 3 attacks against individual enemies, so unique enemies, deals extra damage, and it grants me a shield that fades over 1.5 seconds. This effect can be triggered again on each enemy after 6 seconds. So you're very highly incentivized to kind of get right into the thick of things and uniquely tag as many people as possible to start proccing that shield, okay? So hold that thought. We're going to get into the primary attack here. So this is our lunge. We're going to dash forward, and we're going to strike with our sword towards the nearest enemy. And every time, look at this, every time your passive triggers, it reduces the cooldown of this lunge. So you're getting in there, you're proccing your passive over and over, and you're lunging between foes with this reduced cooldown, okay? Then you have your ultimate. Unbreakable Determination. So this is kind of like this is a channeled ultimate actually. So there's a few skills in this game where they're not cooldown based, but rather it's an ultimate that you cast and you'll have like a percentage bar. So kind of like Overwatch or another hero shooter, right? Which you'll build up over time by dealing damage. So anyway, this resets the cooldown of your swift step, which is your dodge. It deals damage to nearby enemies like a little shockwave, and then you enter this sort of transformation state, this awakened state for 12 seconds. So you're in this state, you're basically boosted, right? You have this increased attack speed. Each attack is also dealing like a little mini AoE explosion, and also finally, whenever your passive triggers while you're in the ult, you're recovering health. Yeah, you see how that kind of ties together? So here's the ult cast, by the way. Little AoE shockwave initially, and then I'm kind of electrically charged. And finally the dodge, I left it for last because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's very similar to Lacerta as well, just two charges. Oh, this threat detection here as well. This is a meta upgrade I have. So you won't see this right away, but my cooldown of my dodge ability is globally reduced by 18% because of a meta upgrade. So, okay, so very, very cool, flashy little character. Definitely a difficult character to give you right off the jump, but maybe, you know, you tried Lacerta and it wasn't for you, want a little bit more of a challenge. You'd like to kind of get in your opponent's faces, give Mist a try. Our third character, Yubar, is kind of like your wizard, sorcerer archetype, your, you know, your high power glass cannon type character. If that's the kind of thing you like, this is the character for you. So definitely a little bit more vulnerable than the other characters. You'll see why in a second. But compensates for that with very, very high burst damage and firepower. So our dodge ability, we have this sort of long range teleport, this flicker, very, very useful. However, you'll notice here that we only have one charge of it. So unlike the past two characters, we only have one charge of our dodge. So we have to be very cognizant of our spacing, and especially in conjunction with our passive here. Our passive kind of incentivizes us to use the dodge, but we have to be careful not to get greedy. I'll get to that passive in just a second. Our right click is Ethereal Influence. This is basically like a magic boomerang, right? You launch a ball of energy, comes forward and returns. You can actually reactivate this mid-cast, deal a second instance of damage, and also root. So you're firing it, boom, I'm right-clicking as well. So it does a second cast, and that cast is going to root any enemy, make them immobile, stationary for a little bit as well. Our ultimate, this is Cataclysm. This is again another charged ultimate similar to Mist. So when I cast this, I'm going to get a shield. I'm going to increase my ability power by 30%, and then during this time of 12 seconds, I can actually reactivate this ability 3 times to drop meteors at a location. It'll be like an AoE meteor attack that'll also stun enemies. So I'll demonstrate that now. I press Cataclysm, right, and I can right-click as well to drop meteors 3 times at these locations. Then it goes on cooldown. I have to rebuild it, okay? And our passive, Exotic Matter. So we gain stacks every time we cast a memory or we use Flicker. Flicker is our dodge. The next basic attack that we do consumes all stacks to create an explosion. So I have 4 bars here underneath my health bar, 4 of these yellow pips. And when I basic attack something, it actually is going to consume all of those pips to deal an explosion. Next time I dodge, I get another pip here. If I use my right click, I get another pip there. So that's what I was saying earlier about, like, you can use your dodge like pre-combat to generate like a little pip for you, but of course, given the fact that you only have one dodge, you can't get too greedy with that. Okay, minor spoiler here. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the alternate skills of the characters because I don't want to spoil so much, but this character, more than any other character, I really prefer the alternate skills. So if you don't jive so much with this character's base kit, I really, really like the alternate skills for this character, especially the ultimate. Character 4, Vespar. Look at this dude. This guy is probably my favorite character of the demo so far, honestly, and that's kind of surprising myself, as I normally don't jive so much with like melee, brawler, warrior type characters in video games, but this guy is so much fun. He's so far removed from like how the other characters play, right? They're all like, you know, flirting around the edges of combat, poke, 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 right, with their long range weapons, but no, this guy gets right in your face and brings the hammer down. Very, very fun. So let's get into his kit. Our dodge skill is Heavy Strike. So we actually, when we press dodge, we get a shield equal to a percentage of our max health. And then if we collide with an enemy, we deal damage to that enemy again as a percentage of our max health. So this is the only character in the game right now that scales off of max health, so that's already 2 incentives to scale that max health on this character. So you can use your dodge defensively, of course, but it is lower range, shorter range rather, so it's more of like a short hop. That's the trade-off. But then yes, you're incentivized to use it offensively as well to get in range of your hammer and bring justice upon your opponents. Yeah, very much like your quintessential holy paladin archetype. Okay, so our primary ability, Cruel Sun. This is a, well, let me just cast it first. So big boom hammer. When you're holding this ability, you can't actually move, but you do have this unstoppable tag, so you're kind of immune to crowd control effects. And this skill will stun enemies as well. So built-in CC to the kit. Important to note that CC does not work on bosses unless you have the Lucid Dream modifier equipped to your run. But otherwise, for the 90% of the game, the rest of the riffraff, it'll do just fine. Our ultimate ability, Sanctuary of El. So this is kind of like it's an AoE circle on the ground that you'll deploy for 10 seconds. It'll deal damage to nearby enemies, and it'll also give any allies standing in this sort of dome a shield that lasts for 4 seconds. Allies on this ground will gain defense and attack speed, and you yourself receive 200% of this effect, and you're unstoppable. So let me just cast it right now. Look at that. So this area is sort of our allies' territory. We're safe in this territory. And we actually press R again to move the ground a little bit as well. I think you can only do that maybe once per ult. I wasn't able to do that a second time. So very, very cool. And then finally, we have our Resolve passive. So this increases your max health. Every 4th basic attack becomes a critical strike. This is actually a pretty common theme in this game. A lot of passives have some effect that deploys off of the 4th basic attack. So every character is kind of incentivized a little bit to increase their attack speed, right? Obviously, more attacks, more triggers of your passive. But anyway, when you hit someone with this Resolve attack, you're knocking enemies back. You're also stunning them, again, CC built into the kit, and you're recovering a percentage of your health. And when you upgrade this skill, I'll talk about upgrades later, but when you upgrade this skill, it'll go from 3% to 4%, 5%. So you have so much sustain with this character, right? So your kit is designed to get in there, and you have that sustain to stay in there. Lots of fun with this character, my favorite so far. The 5th and final character of the demo is Aurena. There she is. Look at that. Look at the little floaty bit there. That's very cute. Anyway, sorry. So this character is kind of like a very, very interesting character. It's definitely, I would say, the hardest character in the game to play right now. It is classified as a melee support character, so it has baked in healing in the kit, but it's sort of almost like a berserker style where you're threading the needle a lot. You're staying on low HP constantly in order to get most value from your kit and heal allies as well. So let me explain how that works. Dodge, very, very simple. I don't really need to get into it. Just 2 charges of a basic dodge. You right click here. So this, let me just cast it here. It's kind of like similar to Lacerta's AoE cone on his primary. Creates an explosion, but uniquely, this skill also heals allies. When you hit a single target, the damage or healing is doubled as well. So you can hit multiple allies and enemies in one cone, but if you single it onto one target, the effectiveness is doubled. Now, you'll notice that on the top right here, the cooldown of this ability is very short, 0.2 seconds. So what's the catch? Well, this is the catch. When you cast it, you gain corrosion stacks, okay? So what this does is that it immediately takes 5% of your max health, and each stack that you have increases the damage and healing by 100%. So it's doubling it again, but it's also increasing the health sacrificed. So you can just cast it, right? Cast it again, right? So very quickly you can see how dangerous this character can be, right? I'm shelling out a lot of value, both damage and healing, but at an expense to myself. So we'll be able to recuperate this. So let's take a look at our ultimate here. So when we cast this, we empower our next basic attack. It becomes a crit, does additional damage, a little bit of knockback, very cute. But the main thing is that if my current health is below 60% when I cast this, the damage is doubled, the cooldown is reduced, and I heal for every enemy hit. And as a bonus against bosses, damage and healing is doubled. Okay, so I'm going to cast this as well. It's an immediate cast. I fire forward and I smack something. But if I were to be below 60%, then I will get healing as well for this. Passive ability, Disintegrating Claw, so I have some baked-in lifesteal in the kit as well, just my basic attacks. I don't have to hit an enemy with my 4th basic attack, right? It's kind of like a common theme across other characters, right? Something happens on the 4th attack. This character, every attack does a little bit of healing, and against bosses, the damage and restoration are doubled once again. I feel like I've said that like 3 times now, so it's a very common theme in this kit. So, right, maybe your gears are turning right now how to play this character. It's a very high-risk, high-reward type character. Right, you want to kind of flirt between the lines of 60% HP to proc the value of your ultimate, staying low HP but providing immense amounts of value for your teammates. Right then, all that preamble out of the way. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, you can leave a little like, leave a little comment. You know how it is, helps the algo and all that. So why don't we get into a run proper now? Yeah. Let's go into it with just the basic setup here, just your starter character. You know, this is what you guys will have access to. I'm just going to use the standard kit here, so no extra gimmicks. My character will be stronger than yours, right? Because I have some investment in these skill trees, so damage number wise and all that, I'll be a little bit short up, but otherwise the actual gist of the run will be the same. Before you get into the run, you can also take a look at maybe your quests if you want to reroll a few things. Maybe I want to reroll this co-op quest because I have no friends. But you have a couple rerolls per day if you want to maximize the value that you get from these little daily quests for meta currency. Okay. You also have emotes, very cute, that you can use mid-game, and you have some cosmetics as well. You also have, by the way, character cosmetics as well. Right now there's like a little Steam Next Fest set of quests, and you can get these little little cosmetics. So very cute. Here, we'll get this little leaf puppy. That'll be a little companion as we travel into the rapids. Let us begin. I've just loaded into a brand new run, so let's take stock of what we're looking at here. On the top right, you can see a difficulty is indicated by this icon here. You see the current region that you're in. There are 3 regions in the game currently before you can beat a run, and then there's a simple run timer. Just so you know, there are no incentives for beating the run within a certain time, so don't feel pressured. You know, you're not losing out on anything if you're, you know, take too long to beat a run. There's no such thing as too long. You go at your own pace. Okay, that's your current goal here. Sometimes you'll have like little a curse or some sort of extra modifier for the run. You'll see on the top right as well, so that's what will be indicated. Bottom right is a mini-map. I'll be honest with you, I've never used this thing. It's not really a game where you really need a mini-map, but it's there if you'd like. And then on the bottom middle here, you have your character loadout, your skills. I can hold control, actually, to get this zoomed in, and then I can move these guys around a little bit if I want to change which hotkey it's associated with. And then I can also equip essences. These are like skill gems. I'll get into that later. On the bottom left, I'll see my health, my current level and experience, my gold, and my dream dust. The dream dust is used at certain NPCs to upgrade your kit here. Anything that you see in this bottom bar can be upgraded by blue stuff. Gold will be used to buy new things. You'll also notice if I hold control, you can see a more detailed breakdown of my parameters here. I can see health, damage, speed, crit chance, move speed, armor, ability power, memory haste, this is cooldown reduction, and specifically burn damage. Burn damage on my hero is baked in, so you may see different parameters as well here depending on the character that you're playing. Okay, let me very quickly kind of go over settings here. There's actually quite a lot to kind of tinker with. Namely, the main thing here is that you can actually play this game with MOBA control. So right now, what I'm doing, I'm moving the character around with my WASD keys right now because I prefer that style. But if you prefer a more classic style of like a MOBA scheme, maybe that's where you come from, League or Dota or what have you, you're a refugee from those games, you can play with like this sort of style, with this attack move, okay, configuration. Other settings, I'm not going to go through everything. It's going to take a long time, but there is a lot. Everything can be rebound. I won't get into all that detail. You can kind of tinker with as you see fit. That's pretty much it. This memory here, I call it memory. Memory is another word for ability. That's what they call abilities in this game. I may use the terms interchangeably. The reason why there's a memory on the ground right now is because I have a meta upgrade that allows my run to start with a random one. Okay, so that's that. You'll have like a little nugget of gold that you can kind of break just to kind of get your aim warmed up a little bit of currency just to kick us off, okay? And then we get to the rift. So these are like fast travel nodes. You'll see them at every single node. I'll press F to open my map, and there it is. This is your roguelike map, you know, your Slay the Spire, whatever have you, right? Very similar map style, although it's not as vertical. It's a little bit more dynamic. I can move left and right, okay? So the goal is to get to this exit point, okay? I can travel within any of these highlighted nodes, and I will be able to reveal what a node is as long as I am next to it, okay? I will explain nodes as they come. There are more than these kinds of nodes. I'll explain them as they come. There's like shop nodes as well, okay? I see this yellow exclamation mark here. All this means is that the enemies in this node are a little bit stronger, but you'll get higher rewards. This little heart indicates that there is a shrine in which I can pay some gold in order to get a heal as well, okay? So if you're low on health, you might like to seek the shrines. Now, let me explain the most important mechanic of the map system, and that is these hunters. If you've played FTL, Faster Than Light, that's what this is. And basically what this is like it's a threat that is slowly encroaching on your position, right? So basically, hunters start from a certain location and they will try to go to your location at all times. So it's kind of like a turn-based system. So if I were to go to this node, they're not going to meet me at that node. They're going to go to this node. And then when I finish this node, these two nodes are going to kind of be taken over. They're kind of like hunter territory. So slowly and slowly, you can't stay in this region forever. You kind of have to eventually get to the exit point. Now, if you do go to a hunter's node, it's not like it's a game over. Basically, you will have to fight your way through the hunter's node, and it's kind of like there'll be like a GTA style wanted level, or maybe Darkest Dungeon to the what's that thing called? The loathing level, right? Where like you can go to like hunter locations like 5 times. 5 times I think may be game over, but it's like harder and harder every time. You have to fight your way through it. Okay, so I'll explain a little bit more of that, what that looks like once the map gets a little bit more eroded. For now, why don't we just go to let's go to a closer node here. Why don't we do that? Important not to make a straight beeline for the objective, because we want to kind of farm up currency as well. Sometimes when you enter a run, you'll get like a little bonus. It might be good or bad. In this case, all characters gradually recover health. I presume it means enemies as well. Yeah, it looks like they're, you can see the little number tick. So they're actually regenerating HP as well. Okay, I've actually never seen this modifier. It's the very first time for me. So there's still things even in this demo that I haven't seen yet. So that's very neat. So I'm not going to go over to like the micromanagement of combat. It's pretty easy difficulty. I'm just going to be using my skills in a rotation here. Pretty self-explanatory. Making sure that I have like a dodge charge to get out of danger if it all comes down to it. Okay, so we fight our way through the opponents. There'll be like basically 2, maybe 3 waves of enemies. And then, oh, sometimes you'll see these little crystals, or again, gold nuggets, very similar to the nodes that you saw at the start of the run. You want to break those for additional currency. Now, there was nothing at this node, no extra special bonus, so there's nothing here. Oh, I say that, there's actually a Shrine of Guidance here. I don't believe that showed up on the map originally, but it looks like it's, yeah, it's associated with this random event here, so I can pay money to replenish some health if I wanted to, okay? Okay, that node is done. I can go back to the node if I want to, but there's no point, so I will just keep going. We're basically going to go through probably like the first biome. I don't want to spoil too much, nor do I want to make the video too long, so I'm just going to kind of go through the motions of what the initial biome kind of looks like, just to kind of give you a feel for the general combat and flow of the game. So it is very fun. It's very responsive. I don't, you know, anytime I die, I always feel like, yeah, it is my fault when I die. You know, it's a mistake that I made. It's not because like, oh, you know, the button didn't go off. It's not responsive. No, none of that. So it does feel very good in that respect. Sounds are satisfying as well. Everything is up to snuff. No complaints there. Okay, let's talk about memory remnants. So these things are kind of like rewards that you'll get. Sometimes they'll be in the form of like there'll be a different kind of remnant. I think it's called like a concept remnant, which will give you like a stat increase. It'll let you choose between 3 stat increases. This one specifically gives you like an ability, okay? I can, again, move them around at any time. If I'm maxed out on abilities and another one drops, I can swap them out, or I can dismantle them. So I can, let's see here, drop those. Key tip here, you can drop stuff for your allies as well. If you're playing co-op, you can share whatever you want. You can share essences, you can share memories, and trade them between your allies so that you guys can, like, you know, shore up each other's builds. So again, similar to Risk of Rain, right? This blue icon is very important. So there's a well in this place. What that means is that it's going to be like a little, well, yeah, it's an actual well where I can trade Dream Dust here, that's the blue currency, to upgrade my skills. And be careful doing this mid-combat as well. The enemies will hold no quarter. You'll wait for no one, so you want to clear the area a little bit first here. And it looks like, wow, we have another back-to-back Lingering Aura of Guidance. Never saw it before this video, and now I've seen it twice. So we can use the well, and we can pay a certain amount of money to upgrade this one of our abilities. So you can see exactly what it's going to upgrade here. You can see this is 84 to 112 damage increase. So you can decide whatever you would like. I'm just going to upgrade my passive as well. Okay. Nothing else to do here. We'll move on. And now is a good time to talk about the hunter's progress. So you can see here, these are very dangerous nodes, these red areas here. These sort of, I guess, orangish brown nodes, these are like they're entering this area now. Okay, so that's the territory that they're going to take next. So you're never going to be surprised, right? It's not like they're going to come to this node. You'll always know the breadth of their expansion. Okay. Shop icon is here. Oh, there's also a curse node. So let me go to that curse node. That's very important. It's kind of like when you complete this this area, you'll be able to choose between 3 kinds of curses, and that curse will give you like like a negative modifier at the expense of, like, it'll give you a reward at the expense of a negative modifier, rather. So I'll explain that in just a moment as we chew through the riffraff here. Just your standard spiders and things like that. The enemies, of course, become a little bit more interesting in the later biomes. Right now, it's kind of just your standard fare of fauna. And yeah, be very liberal with your cooldowns as well. I also have a bad habit of saving my cooldowns for too long. Just use them. Just use them. Especially in this game, there's a lot of ways to reduce cooldown or like get resets on different abilities, right? Some very, very exciting stuff. And we're going to go to a shop after this as well. And I'll try to see if I can show you guys some interesting things as well. New abilities. Okay, so this is the Hatred Remnant. So you have 3 options. So you can choose between minor reward with no curse, a potent curse but substantial rewards, or a very intense curse but greater rewards. Okay, so that's if you're like so basically there's 2 ways of cleansing the curse, right? And it'll be different every time, but you either have to visit like 4 locations generally or kill X amount of monsters. So if you're just about to go into the enemy boss room, it's probably not as good of an idea to take maybe the higher level curses, right? You definitely can, but there's some curses where it's like every time you take damage, you get like stunned, right? For like 1 second or 1.5 seconds, depending on the level of curse. I believe the curse's difficulty or the scaling rate of the curse increases with biome as well. I've definitely got like a stun curse for 1 second, and then later on I've gotten the same stun curse for 1.5 seconds, which could be a death sentence in a boss fight. That being said though, we're all about the risk here, so I will take the intense curse. So Fate of Greed 3, so you can see the level of the curse. When taking damage from enemies, I lose 10% of my gold, so I have to be very careful. But I got what did I get? Oh, I got a bunch of gold. Cash infusion for the sake of the curse. And you can see here, I have to travel to a new location 4 times, and then I will be freed from this curse. Okay, so the hunters have taken over all of kind of the west side of the area. We have 2 shops as well to take a look at. So why don't you can kind of plan as well a little bit in advance, right? How do you want to wrap around a little bit based on the hunter's progression? Why don't we go and visit the shops right now? I'm kind of eager to kind of see some new tools. So no enemies in the shop area. We have Jonas here. Spider? Yeah, for all intents and purposes, some form of spider. Hello. That's Jonas. And he'll always offer 3 memories, 3 skills, and 3 essences. Okay, so now, finally, I will talk about essences. I've said that word so many times this video, finally talking about it. So these are like your skill gems that you can socket into abilities to augment them or give them passive bonuses, okay? The cool thing is you can swap them around at any time for no cost. For no cost. You can move them around, you know, experiment. You can pick up new skills, move into that skill. It's all good, okay? So every essence has a rarity associated with it, so this is a common essence, and a quality associated with it. So the quality basically is like the level of the essence, right? The higher the quality, the higher the essence, and you can actually fuse 2 of the same essences to increase the quality. So that'll happen automatically. So if I were to get one of these essences and I pick up another of the same kind, they will automatically fuse and the quality will increase, okay? You'll notice here this 2 icon. This shopkeeper actually sells 2 of this essence. 2 of this, 2 of this, but only 1 of this. So if I wanted to, I could pick up these 2 right away and they would fuse in my inventory, okay? This essence gives me move speed when I cast a memory or deal fire damage with it. This essence gives me extra damage in the form of these dusk shards every time I attack someone. So a lot of these enemies are on proc, right? It's like when you cast this memory, but there are some essences that are also, they activate independently of memories. They'll just like augment your basic attack, or they'll give you like a stat boost as well. So you can kind of play around. Oh, I like this one a lot. This one is like, whenever you cast this memory, it just throws 2 fireballs. And I believe the frequency of the fireballs increases on quality. Oh, I can actually hold left alt to see a little bit more details as well if I want to. Ice Claw, Backstep, Flaming Whip. I really like this skill a lot, actually. So this one is like, you get resets. So you have this like, it's like a fire claw, basically, that you hit in front of you, an AoE cone. And then you cast another ability, and then the cooldown of this whip is reset. So you're casting this ability in between everything else, right? You know what? I'm actually going to buy it. I'm actually going to buy it. And I'm going to sell... Oh, so when you sell things, if you're at a shop, right, you can sell... sorry. Get that shop prompt. If you're at a shop, you can sell your skills for money. But anytime in the game, even if you're not at a shop, you can dismantle them for dream dust, right? So it kind of depends on what currency you want more of. And just keep in mind that you can only sell it for gold when you're at a shop. So something to consider. I am actually going to sell this beam of light. I don't really need it. And why don't we just for fun, yeah, let's just pick up. I'm just going to buy stuff for fun, right? Let's just do that. And now, every time I cast this whip, oh, that's the wrong button. Every time I cast this whip, I show fireballs as well. Actually going to do it this way. Sorry, this F and B, by the way, it's actually a little bit of a bug. These are all my mouse buttons, but it shows F and B for some reason. Just a visual bug, but you can map it to your mouse buttons just fine. Cool, cool. Bye, Jonas. Thank you. Oh, wrong way. Bye, Jonas. Thank you. Do you want to visit another shop? Just like super quick, visit another shop just to show you guys some more abilities. I won't be able to buy them, but just to give you guys a little bit of a taste. Hey, Jonas. Long time no see. Spinning Whirlwind. It's your classic spin to win move. You know, you're kind of spinning in an AoE circle around you. I have this like dark-based energy attack, chain lightning, you know. This essence gives me more damage with enemies that have 70% or more health. All damage dealt by this memory deals area damage as well, and it shares the elemental type with the original damage. And Flawed Essence of Fever. Oh, this is a really good one. I can't afford it. I'm poor. But when you deal fire damage to an enemy, they get this fever effect, and they explode. And then the explosion radius gets increased when you have more burn. So it's just like, it's a very good payoff essence for like a fire build, so to speak. I'm going to wrap around here and take a look at the other nodes before I go to the boss. So I was able to go to the boss just now if I wanted to, but I'm going to kind of farm up a little bit of extra currency, you know. Show a little bit more gameplay. Missed all 3 shots, no problem. I'm not being super optimal in my ability usage and whatever. I'm yapping and chatting to you guys, but I promise I'm good at this game, I swear. You'll notice my my flame whip is refreshing between every cast here. Very cool. Fire. Fire, fire, more memories. World Cracker! Wait a second, legendary memory. God damn, wait a second. Sheesh! So this deals light damage. You can't move while channeling. But this is infinite, as long as I'm not interrupted. That's pretty sick, let's take that. You know, I'm just gonna get rid of my, my basic ult. Can't hit that for shit anyway, so... That's cool. And, you know what? At this point, I'll just go to the boss, and that'll be that. Why not? I don't know if I'll be able to get this World Cracker off. He kind of jumps around a little bit. So, you notice that I just completed my curse now. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I don't know how much money I lost. But we completed our curse, ready to go for the boss. And there are 3 biomes in total. 3 biomes in total. Long ways ahead of us, but let's do this one. Standing there, menacingly. Oh yeah, definitely won't be able to cast that. No chance, not with this boss. Little song and dance here. Oh god. Maybe he'll give me space to use the thing. Hold on, I want to use the thing. Wait. Wait. Oh, no, I think I interrupted myself. I think if you press a movement key, it counts as like an interrupt. Ah, I'm learning new things. Cool. Nice. Sorry. Might cut out for a bit. Beat the boss, you get a soul of the boss, and this allows you to upgrade. It functions as like a free well upgrade, so you can upgrade anything that you choose. You know, probably incentivized to upgrade something that you've already upgraded before because it saves you more dust. That being said, we'll just throw that on the whip here. Then, every time you beat a boss, you also get Stardust, meta currency as well. So we are making progress. Okay, arriving at the second region here. I'm not going to do this region. I'm just going to kind of flash the map for you so you can kind of see. I think I covered all the basic core nodes, right? So the key is the merchant. There's a well for the dream dust, exclamation marks, additional rewards. We talked about curses as well. Sometimes you'll see little artifacts on nodes, right? It's basically you go to a node and it asks you to deliver something to another node. When you do that, you get a boost of meta currency as well. So highly incentivized to do those. There is at least like one kind of like secret node that I don't want to spoil as well. You'll encounter that when you see it. But I think that's the gist of it, man. That's pretty much it. I think I covered it all. Abilities. Clearly don't have a script for this part, but I think I covered it all. Listen, if I missed something or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I will happily answer that. That's it for this guide. I hope it was helpful for you folks. You know, I'm very kind of new to the sort of educational content video kind of style, but after how well the Wild Frost video did, I do want to kind of make some more educational content, and hopefully I can help at least one person out there. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care.